guys! So in today's video I wanted to talk about fall trends, and not just any fall trends, but of course, hair trends. So the beginning of fall is my favorite time of the year. I love that all the magazines, the September issues are like this thick, so I've been really busy reading that. It's just so inspiring and so exciting. So many of my clients, when they sit down, they just ask like, what would you do to my hair? Or like, what's in right now? And even though my style is more of not necessarily following a trend and more doing what looks good on you, just because I think everyone benefits more from that than, you know, really just following a trend. But with that being said, of course, you still want to look modern and, I guess, up to date. And another thing with hair trends, none of this is really new. It's all just kind of recycled kind of styles where maybe you've seen that color before but just never with that cut. Or like baby lights is like a huge thing right now, but baby lights is, you know, has been around for a long time. It's just called something else, but now baby lights are introduced like to balayage to soften the look and to give it a more kind of fluid look. I've had clients, you know, that have balayage come in and be like, oh, I've heard about baby lights and I want that. And I'm like, you have that. So I figured I would just kind of go and basically just show you pictures of basically what is in and kind of transitioning into fall. And so if you're thinking of updating your look a little bit, you can use obviously these pictures and these trends, you know, as inspiration. So I'm going to start with kind of the more subtle for all you more natural girls, and then I'll kind of go into more extreme styles. So the first trend is Ecaille, and obviously this has been around for a couple of months, but the coloring of it changes a little bit here and there. And so Ecaille is basically a French word that I believe means scales, kind of on a fish, which is weird, and basically the meaning of that I think is because there's so many colors, but they're all kind of in the same color family. So together it creates this just beautiful harmony of colors. So it looks very natural, very soft, and very youthful. If you think of a little girl's hair, like just that like natural kind of lightness at the bottom. So it's even more than ombre, it's more than balayage, it just kind of has this beautiful like glow to it almost. So color number 2 would be gray, and of course we've been seeing that for the last year at least. But again, with each season it kind of changes like the intensity of it. And I get a lot of questions on this, so I figured I would just like to touch on it. In order to get gray, yes, you do have to bleach your hair almost to a platinum in order to get it gray. Otherwise it'll go green and not gray. So that is a huge trend, whether you like it extremely smoky or, you know, just kind of more of a whitish gray. Beautiful colors. A lot of girls that are already blonde that want to do it, go for it. It's very easy to transition back. I get a lot of questions on that, like, oh, you know, I'm blonde right now and I would love to do that, but how hard is it to go back to blonde? It's really easy. So if you are thinking about it, go for it. It's super fun way to change your hair. It's so edgy, and you know, it just gives you basically a fun new thing to try with your hair without much commitment. And then the next color is all the vibrant pastels. So we've all seen, you know, the lavender and the turquoise and the soft pink and all of that. But more than that, now we're seeing the kind of ombre with the pastels. So that means that the roots are like this intense, either like blues or purples, and then it kind of fades out into this beautiful pastel-y purple. So basically it looks like it's like melting into this light version of that same color. So that obviously takes a little bit more technique, but it absolutely looks beautiful. This is great too for girls that do want to try a little bit of color but still want to look pretty sophisticated, because it looks a little bit more elevated. The fact that there is a special technique in there and the fact that there is that kind of gradient kind of adds a little bit of glamour to it. So this is more like the ombre kind of lavender, and this is just the pastel lavender all over. And now for the last one, this is a cut, not necessarily a color. The color I would recommend with it would be a pretty bold balayage, meaning that it's pretty blonde or pretty solid blonde at the bottom, but it is the lob. And the amount of girls that are sitting in my chair with long hair to here that want to go really short is basically, I feel like, all I do lately. So it definitely has to be one of the biggest trends. And it is great to see girls, you know, that have been growing out their hair and finally just being so bold to just get, you know, this kind of long bob, which I love how it's I feel like it's so edgy and so against the rules that it's not even a bob. It's like a long bob. So it really is futuristic and so different. You know, it's not the traditional bob that kind of like curls in, and it's not the long waves that we keep seeing. So, and then the fact that it's really blunt, that's I think what gives it that edginess and playfulness, but still gives it a lot of movement. So obviously there's a technique to getting this haircut done right, so that you do get a lot of movement. I see a lot of cuts that are just done way too blunt, and that's not necessarily the point. That's just half of what this haircut is. So it needs to look really blunt, but also really PC. That is definitely the balance I think you have to find with that cut. So if you're gonna get it done, make sure to get it done right. But it is absolutely beautiful. I've not done a girl yet that had really long hair that, you know, went really bold and went a lot shorter and hasn't been loving it. And again, if that is something that you're looking to do, absolutely try it out. It's so stylish and glamorous, and definitely even easier to take care of. And if you want, by next summer your hair will be long again, so why not? Just give it a shot. I know that these colors are not necessarily breaking news and like you've never heard of these before, so I wanted to touch more on styles that I was pretty sure you've heard of, but probably want a little bit more explanation, and, you know, very just wearable looks, from the more daring to, you know, the more subtle. So I hope this has tickled a little bit of inspiration into you, and hope you try at least one of these out this fall. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking right here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!